Morning. It's morning here anyway. Afternoon, evening, wherever you might be watching this. I wanted to share something about the reason why I do what I do, and it was after talking to a friend of mine who asked me why do I do what I do? Why do I choose to work specifically with people who've had or have got a lot of pain that maybe the traditional sort of treatment hasn't been working for them? And it's because I've been there. Many years ago, in my 20s, I had a fall down the stairs and really hurt my back. And I went to A&E because it was so bad. It was a horrible spasm, just to check I hadn't broken it. I hadn't broken it, okay? And it took a while, I can't remember, 2 or 3 weeks, and it got better. And then, I don't know, several months later, I think I was just bending over and I got another episode of really bad back pain, back spasm. Oh, it was horrible. So those of you who come to me with back spasm or talk about it with your friends, I know how bad it is. I've had 2 children. It's not far off labour. And that episode really didn't come from anywhere. It's just a silly movement that, we make every day of our life. And it went eventually. Can't remember how long ago. It was quite a long time ago, in my 20s. But it happened again, and it happened again, and it happened again. And the episodes became more frequent and more severe. And I got to the stage, I can remember being walking around the shops. I can remember my back being not in spasm but hurting so badly just from standing around. I can remember being in a shop trying to stretch over and lean and try and get into bending to make it better. But then if I stood up for too long, it hurt as well. I just couldn't seem to get rid of this pain. I eventually, this is before I was a physio, I went to have some physio treatment. And the physios that I saw were all very good. I can remember one episode, I think it was in my second year of my physio degree by this point. It was so bad, I could barely manage to take my physical exams. So we used to have pretend patients for us to treat in our exams. And I can remember being taped up. I had loads of tape on my back, and I could barely move. By this time, I'd started to have leg pain as well, but my back pain was still the biggest problem. Anyway, I got over there, I got better, and then that was quite a bad episode. It lasted quite a long time, but I remember it started again, and was worse than ever. Less than a year into me being a physio. Less than a year, and by this time the back pain was really bad, but I had leg pain as well, pins and needles numbness, so what you would consider sciatica, but the pain down my leg was horrendous, and I struggled on going to work. I was a junior physio, and my colleagues tried to treat me. I can remember I used to work in Rotherham and I lived in Sheffield. Now the journey's only 11 miles long, but the traffic's really bad. It could take me up to an hour. I can remember having to stop and pull up the sides and get out my car a couple of times to get to work. So I was having to set off early. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was trying all the over-the-counters medications. And, I got to work one day and I can remember it distinctly. It isn't a very long distance between the car park and our department, or less than 5 minutes. But oh God, it took me forever. I had to keep stopping and starting. One of my colleagues behind me came along and went, "It's about time you took some time off work and got this treated properly." Because I was dragging my leg along the floor. Oh, it was awful. So I got sent home, and I, at the time I just thought, I'll be all right a couple of weeks. I went to my own GP, and this is no disrespect to, this is just the particular GP I saw, because it's the same for the physio experience I'm going to share with you. And it was an awful experience. She didn't believe me because I was too young. She actually said that. She did some really poor testing on me, being as I'm a physio, I knew, and I thought she isn't. And then she poked a finger in my back like that and went, "Well, it's not a disc prolapse. Let me tell you, that's not how you tell if someone's got a disc prolapse." And I was just beside myself. And in the end, she goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" And I went, "I really need some help." She goes, "We'll go and see a chiropractor." Guys, no disrespect to chiropractors, but you don't get your back manipulated when you've got leg pain, all right? And plus, I tried loads of physio. So I said, no, that's not going to work. Can you send me to the physio? And she did. This is in the days where, you know, you got to see your physio in the community within a couple of weeks. Told you how long ago that was. And I went to this physio, and honestly, I just felt huge relief. I just thought, yeah, I know I feel really rubbish, but, you know, this physio is going to really help me out, because the physios at work did, but the travelling backwards and forwards a bit at work wasn't helping. And she sat me down, she took my history, she asked me what I did, and she said, there's nothing I can do for you. You're in too much pain, come back when you feel better. I think, well, I could cry now. I could think I was absolutely devastated. I just thought, is this it? I think I must have been about 30 by this time. I thought, is this it? Is this my life? Because what she didn't know is I had a conversation with my boss at the time, and I really wanted to, I love being a physio. I'd worked really hard to get into physio. I had to do night school A-levels. I didn't get in the first time. I had to go back and try again. I really had to work myself to get into it, being a physio. And I remember thinking, what? But the conversation I'd had with my colleague on top of that was, she said, I think you need to rethink your career. You're never going to manage to be a physio. Your back's never going to hold up. Honestly, I just saw my life closing in on me. And all this time I'd spent doing my physio degree, all the love and investment, I just thought, that's it. I'm 30 and I wanted to have children. I didn't think I could manage being pregnant. Oh my God, I just felt this world closing in on me. Honestly, I think I cried every day. And of course I'm in pain as well. Anyway, I can't remember how it happened. My colleague at work, who'd said to me at the time, you need to go, she phoned me, she was my boss as well, she phoned me, said, go. I told her, she went, I don't agree with that, I'm going to get you an appointment. It was another NHS physio in Sheffield. She said, he's really good, he's a real specialist. Anyway, I was not in a good place when I went to see him. I just was like, you know, I think I cried most of the appointment. And he was really good. He listened. He said, I believe you. You must feel terrible. He was just really good. And he started giving me these exercises. He said, I can help you. I can help you. And he talked to me about my pain, and he gave me some exercises to do. Oh my God, was I resistant? I was like, there's nothing you can do to help me. I don't believe you anymore. No one's helped me. I've been like this for nearly 8 years at the time it was, maybe 9 years actually. And I said, no one's ever helped me. It's never going to get any better. I don't know, I'm just totally lost. I was like that for weeks with him. But I turned up to every appointment he gave me. I don't know, there was something about him. But you know, slowly over time, I did what he asked me to do eventually, because I thought, what's the point of me coming? You know, I have to respect somebody who tells me that they can help me. And he really believed in himself, and he really believed me. And you know, every single session he heard me. Every single session he gave me a push. Every single session he said, I'm not giving up on you. And I just felt over time, all of a sudden I thought, oh, it isn't quite as bad as it was. Oh, maybe he's got something in this. And eventually it took me a year. But eventually there was a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. I went back to work. Before that, I had to have 3 months off, and I was part-time for another 3 months. So you can see the impact it had on my job and my career. I only could work in outpatients. That's how come I've ended up in outpatients, which is muscle, joint, nerve pain. I wanted to be a neurophysio, which is brain injury, stroke, you know, all the neurological. I do both, a bit both now, so that's good. I use my neuro knowledge in my musculoskeletal medicine, so muscle, joint, nerves. But I learned so much. He didn't just give me a set of exercises, and that's the thing I think that society, physiotherapy, you know, well-meaning people think because you have got a tight muscle, because you have got a stiff joint, because it's movement that impacts you, that we think that everything can be fixed by exercises. Don't get me wrong, I'm a great exercise. I've got, I absolutely love exercise. I come from a PT background. I've got biomechanics speciality. I've got a master's degree in basically exercise and pain medicine. But your exercises need to be focused around you as an individual, for your pain, for where you're going, and goal setting, and so on and so forth. But they're not the magic formula. There's no one thing that makes a magic formula. It's a combination of things. And what I realised was, yes, I did the exercises. Yes, I went and kept active. I listened to what he said. I had faith in him. I followed him. But he taught me so much about pain and why we have pain and how we change how we experience pain. He gave me a safety place, he gave me a safety net, he totally never gave up on me. It was all of those things that created this faith in him and my ability to help myself. Because he didn't fix me, guys, he didn't put his hands on me. I did have an MRI scan and it was a disc prolapse. I knew it anyway because that's what I do for a living. But I didn't need surgery. Very rarely do we need surgery, and certainly we do it far less now than we ever did when I was offered. And I did go to the surgeon and he did offer me surgery. But by that time, I was starting to feel better, and he was a really good surgeon at Hallamshire, and he said, to be honest with you, the outcomes are for surgery and non-surgery at 5 years exactly the same. And he said, I'll do it, but you'd only do it for leg pain and there's no guarantee. There are some circumstances where surgery isn't urgent and you would have to have it done, but not very often. And I chose not to have it. Do you know what? He had a little bet with me. He said, you'll be back within 5 years. I wasn't. I've never had surgery. Did I have episodes of leg pain on and off for some time afterwards? Probably over the next 5 or 6 years. Yeah, I did. But it didn't last as long. It didn't stop me working. I had the strategy. I had the exercises, which I continue to do. I knew inside myself what it was. I totally changed my framework in my brain about what I could do. I didn't feel hopeless anymore. I felt empowered and confident. And I think that's the thing. I felt confident in my body that I wasn't going to make it worse by continuing at work, because that's the belief that I was given by my own colleagues. Nowadays, I'm sure they wouldn't. Some would, some wouldn't, but the science has moved on a lot. But this guy, he absolutely changed my life. He changed my life from my physical point of view, but he changed my life as a physio. He taught me so much about, what it takes to be a really good physio. And, that's why when people come to me and I say you can recover pain, you can. Does that mean your pain's going to go, shut the door, never come back? No. And it took ages for me. And I don't get leg pain very rarely now. Very rarely. I can't remember the last time. It's died off over the years. But I recovered from pain even when I had pain, because I got my life back. I was able to go back to work. I was able to go back to the gym. I could have children. It turned out I was pregnant partly way through that anyway. But I can do all the things I wanted to do, but I did spend so many years avoiding it. I did avoid. Before I knew better, I wouldn't bend, I wouldn't do too much. The back spasm was terrible. I remember once I got stuck in bed and I couldn't get out of bed. I thought I was going to pass out. I've had all of those, and I felt in the lowest place possible with pain. But you can. So when you've tried all those things, when you've been told by something there's nothing more you can do, that's them saying there's nothing more they can do. You can 100% achieve it. But please don't think that going to do a special set of exercises or a special type of treatment is going to be the cure. If you're somebody who's had episodes of back pain, it doesn't have to be back, it can be neck, it can be shoulder, it can be hip, it can be all those things. It's just lots of people have back pain. And if you're somebody who's watching this and thinking, I'm having to stop living my life, I'm feeling like there's no hope for me, there absolutely is. Right? Don't let anybody tell you that. And I can help. I know I can. And this is the conversation I was having with someone. is that they were going, you know, I didn't know all that about you. I didn't know that you'd experienced that. I didn't know. I've worked with thousands of people. I've worked with people who thought they would never, ever be able to bend or move again. You know, it's a journey, and you need somebody in your corner, and you need somebody who understands the science, and needs somebody who understands the exercise, needs somebody who understands pain. You need somebody who understands what it's like to be in your position. Does that mean every physio needs to have had that pain? No, of course not. You know, some fantastic physios out who maybe not had that experience, but I get it on a very human level. I get how frightening it can be. I can get how you can lose faith and trust in people even when you like them. So I hope that this maybe resonates with some of you. I hope some of you have, by listening to me, feel a little bit more hopeful. If you really want to reach out to me, please do. I'm happy to have a chat. You don't have to see me in person. You can have a chat with me on Zoom. It's easy, click, honestly. But, you know, I promise you, right, don't give up, because I never will.